Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to today's webinar on document management in Prospect CRM. The session will last around 30 minutes. We have a fair amount to cover today, but don't worry too much about taking notes as you will be sent a copy of the recording afterwards. Remember that Prospect is accessed via your browser by navigating to crm.prospect365.com, meaning that you can access the CRM on multiple devices such as tablets and mobile phones. If you're on our version 6 CRM, our older CRM, and would like to find out more about Prospect, feel free to give our team a call or drop us an email. All our contact details are on our website and will be available in the follow-up email after the session too. So just a little bit about me before we begin. My name is Jessica Heald and I'm the Head of Marketing at ProspectSoft. And for today's agenda, so we'll start off by covering some of the key benefits of document management in the CRM. So some of the reasons why you should implement some of the best practice advice I'm going to give you today. I'll also briefly cover off some of the common used vocab that we'll be using in today's webinar. These sort of keywords and phrases are used in the system itself too. So it is good to get used to them now while you can. As you'll notice, these words sort of associated with document management a lot, and they'll crop up quite a bit. I'll then take a look at how you can create a new Microsoft Word document template from the CRM. And it's worth noting that when I go through this part, that only CRM administrators will be able to actually do this part when it comes to actioning this in your own CRM system. I will also demonstrate how to create new email templates and how you can send these to someone via the CRM. So whilst creating both of these types of templates, Word and email, we'll then look at how some of these examples of search and replace fields can be embedded into those templates. And we'll sort of show you how search and replace fields can be used and what they're used for really, and the benefits. After we've created the templates, we'll then look at how you can use these within the CRM, so how users could send them out and sort of send them out to customers, quotes, proposals, things like that. And I'll then look at how you can attach them as PDFs and save in external documents. Finally, I'll cover off email signatures. So standard practice now is generally to have an email signature at the bottom of every email before you send them to anyone. You probably have them in your Outlook, bottom of your Outlook emails or your Gmail. And these do make your email look on brand, which is great. And normally what most companies tend to do is also include legal information on the bottom of their email signature too. But it's also a great opportunity for you to market some of your products as well. So Prospect does support the creation and use of email signatures. So I'll show you how to set those up if you are going to be sending emails out via the CRM. And within this part of the webinar, I'll then show you how and where those emails are stored so you can see the kind of audit trail of who was sent what and when. So let's just begin with running through a few benefits of managing your documentation in the CRM properly. So when we see our customers using some of the things I'm showing you in the CRM today, they see immediate benefits and kind of positive results. I think it is worth me just showing you what you can gain or benefit from by taking advantage of some of the inbuilt functionality that Prospect offers. In your own organization, you can implement these things straight away. So the first benefit is that it generally improves efficiency all round in everyday tasks. Any emails or documentation or documents that your team are regularly sending out to customers should be converted into a document template to help increase productivity. So this way your users don't have to keep setting up the same things time and time again, wasting their time, putting the header in, the footer of the document, whatever it might be, that's just always going to be in that document, no matter come rain or shine. Those things can be made into a template, and they can use that as the basis each time. And it sort of does all the work for them then. It just cuts out a load of time there. Secondly, by saving and sending all methods of communication into the CRM, this provides transparency to all CRM users. Everyone's then aware of the kind of communication history, or the log of every single record, which is great because it means that everyone's kind of in the loop and everything can be picked up by anybody. So, if you're away, for example, someone can pick it up, and I will touch on that a bit later again. Using document templates, and in particular search and replace fields, can reduce the amount of time your users are spending on CRM admin, like sending out follow-up emails or quotations to customers, because they're not having to create everything from scratch every single time. So that is a real draw for it. And the next benefit is that by setting up document templates, it usually means that you can make everything look consistent from a branding perspective. So subsequently, any communications you send out to your customers are not only nice looking, but they naturally will help build a more recognizable picture of your brand. It's like anything, if you received some documents from a company you regularly use or a well-known brand, you're going to expect the fonts, the colors, the positioning of the logo, the typeface, everything to be consistent. Otherwise, it would be a bit off. It's kind of what you expect. So this creates a sense of professionalism and consistency, which obviously is just one element to you being seen as a trustworthy, reputable business. But all of this sort of stuff really helps build on that. And the final one I've got on this slide, but there are obviously many more, is that you'll find that details which feature on your document templates may need to change from time to time. So you'll therefore need to be able to update the messages, the content or the design perhaps of your email templates and your document templates easily. But even more importantly, you need to do this in all in one place, not in hundreds of different places. And that's where Prospect is really helping you here, is when you update a document template, you only need to do it in one location. And then all CRM users are using that exact template every single time. So you're not having to send it out to everyone in an email, hoping that they're going to use the right one. If it's in the CRM properly, there's just no chance of somebody using the wrong one because it's been updated in real time. And this is a really big benefit for some of our customers who find that maybe certain details change every few months. Something on their document template, maybe it's a seasonal thing, maybe it's just a small thing, but it just needs to be changed. Again, you've just got that kind of assurance that it's going to be correct. So just before we get stuck into the demonstration, I thought it would be useful to define some of the terms that we'll be using in the webinar, and obviously it'll be used in the CRM going forward. So it's good to know, have a bit of understanding which each thing refers to. So the first one here is the search and replace fields. Lots of you already know what this is. These are essentially sort of codes used to find information from the CRM database in order to put this information onto one of your document templates by automatically populating it. So for example, in the top of your document template for a letter, you might have a search and replace field for the contact's name, their address. So those things are pulled through automatically for you from the CRM system by just putting that search and replace field into the document template. So templates, these refer to a document which already has some details in place that can be adapted either manually or automatically using the search and replace fields. Usually templates are, as mentioned previously, branded in line with your company branding. So templates, that kind of covers those off. Configure. So you'll see the configuration option actually throughout the CRM if you're an admin user. So I'll actually go on to what CRM administrative rights actually means. So users that are given these admin permissions have the ability to update core CRM settings. So like drop downs, they're able to delete records and things like that as well. So these people have the most flexibility when it comes to making changes to the system for your business specifically, like default drop downs and pipelines, things like that. So those things that reflect your sales process or your business processes generally. And you will need CRM administrator rights in order to configure any document templates. As you can imagine, these are pretty important documents that will be seen and used company-wide, so not everyone in the business will necessarily need them or need those permissions. But you can obviously be given them if you feel like you should. You can just get in touch with your CRM administrator at your company and you can ask for those and they might grant you them. Alternatively, if you're not sure who that is in your company, just get in touch with someone add our team, we'll find out for you and request those. Okay, so let's go straight into the CRM. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create a new Word template. This is kind of the most commonly used type of document template. Word is typically what most of our customers use for typing anything up. Probably not just our customers, just in general, most people use Word. So this is the kind of most commonly used document template. And to create a new document template within the CRM, as I said, it's a CRM administrator right only. So we need to go to the configuration option. And as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner here, we've got the settings cog sort of sign, and this will take us to the configuration area. And if you cannot see this cog, it's because you're not CRM administrator. So that will be why. But if you have that, then you are one. So in here we have on the left-hand side these what we call pages on the left. And we want to navigate to the emails and documents page, as this is what we're focusing on today. But do remember to explore the other options when you have a moment too, just because there's lots of configurable elements to Prospect, which are actually quite interesting to go and have a look at. So do take a moment to look at those. But we're going to go into emails and documents for now. So this will then bring up all things under this sort of bracket as such that can be configured. So like your document template groups, which I'll touch on a bit later, the document templates themselves, which is what we're going to focus on now, and even things like email signatures, which I mentioned in the agenda earlier. So to create a new document template, we want to navigate to the document templates part and click to configure. So this will take you to the document configure view, which will display all of your current templates. We're already in a demo system here, but you will have yours. And we can see ones that we created earlier, ones that sort of exist already in the CRM on this list. And to create a new one, we just need to click the little plus button on the top right there. And you'll see that kind of icon feature throughout the CRM. And that just basically means add something to this list. I guess that's why it's a little list and a plus together. So we can just press that. And the first thing that it's going to ask us to do is add a description. And this is basically going to act as your title for this new document template. So it needs to be short and concise and kind of something that all users will feel is relevant. So for this example, I'm going to call it B2B quotation template. You can then choose to create a Word, email, or Excel template here. So from the drop downs there. And we want to choose Word for this particular example because we're doing a Word one. And then if you do need to provide any further information about this particular document, maybe like what it contains, this template, maybe scenarios in which somebody should use it, then you could add that here. It's just a free text field allowing you to do that. The one thing I do want to draw your attention to in particular, I mean, it is in red, so you have to do it, it's mandatory field, is to choose the right level of the hierarchy where you want users to be able to choose this Word document template. So, for example, this is a quotation type of document, so I want to make it available at the quote level of the hierarchy. It's just worth thinking about that at that stage. You might want to make it available at the lead point, so on and so forth. You can choose those there. So this will mean that only when on a quote record can a user create a document using this specific document template. And then I've also got automatically open on creation toggle to yes. So this means that when somebody uses this template, it will automatically open for them straight away. And it's quite useful because some people like to be able to make custom changes immediately, so they can just it just opens for them and they can make those changes before overwriting it. So that is quite a good one to save extra clicks. So once you're happy, simply press create. So this template will then be added to the list that we saw a moment ago. And the CRM kind of takes us back to that screen to show us that it indeed has been created on there. So now we've got our B2B quotation template Word document. We now need to actually upload the Word document that we wish to use as the template, because we've just got the kind of placeholder here at the moment. We haven't actually got any content in it. So to do that, just simply press the pencil icon. And this will open the side panel for us, so we can upload the Word document. So this sort of best way to do it, I find, is to just open your file browser and sort of simply click and drag and drop the file onto the preview screen there. And this will kind of upload the document for us, and we'll get that success message at the top there and a bit of a preview to see what it looks like. And then you can click the edit hyperlink underneath if you want to make further changes. So that's quite good, because I think a lot of customers think once I've uploaded it, I can't make any changes, but you can. So if you forget you've forgotten to do something, you can just make a quick edit there and that will overwrite it for you straight away. Okay. So that's all in there stored, and I've already added my own merge fields into that Word document previously, so I don't need to go and make any more changes. I don't need to do the edit in this stage, but you can do so if you wanted to. So now that we're happy with our template, we need to add it to a group. Underneath you can see there the group drop down. So think of groups like categories or ways of kind of grouping your document templates into common themes. I kind of think of it like a subfolder. It's kind of the best way for me to think about it. So as this document is going to be used mainly by the sales team, in this instance, we might have a group called sales documents, which is nicely there for me. Most of our customers do tend to do it in departmental kind of ways, like sales documents, customer service documents, but you can do it however you like. It's just makes it easier later on to locate them, and it just looks tidier in general, I guess. It's just best practice really to add those groups. So you can configure groups here if you want to actually create the names here, or you can go back to the cog. I'll just go back and show you just so you can see. If I go back to the cog and emails and documents, see the document template groups, click to configure. That's the same, that will show you the same thing. It's just good to know that things do appear twice in the system. So if I go back to mine that I just had here, and I want to give it the sales documents group. So hopefully that makes sense about the groups or the categories, as I like to think of them. Okay, so now that we've added this Word document template, I want to now just show you how we can create a new email template instead. That's something that was requested to go through. So go back to my screen, and again I want to add something to this list. So I go to the little add button, and what we want to do this time in the type here is choose email, because this is an email template. And I'm going to give it a name or a description of new B2B email quotation. So that's the description there. And again, I want this to be available at the quote level for someone to choose. So again, click create, and that's been created. Again, we've just created the placeholder. We haven't got any content in it. So we need to now go into that one I just created there and make those changes by pressing the little edit button there. Okay, so at the moment we, as I say, just have the placeholder. So now we're adding this information into this template. So again, this will open up our email template configure window, and on the far right hand side you can see there we've got the tree view list of all the possible search and replace fields we could add into this email. Please note that any of these fields that can be added into this email here can also be added onto the Word template too that we just created. It's just this field selector hasn't been added into the interface yet. It is something that has been logged in our ideas portal though. But the best thing to do until that functionality becomes available is just to maybe have a test one like this on the same level of the hierarchy as you want the Word one to be, and then you can just flip back to that and see which merge fields you want to add. Just a bit of a workaround option until the feature's added. But back to our email template. So we might want to start this with hi and then maybe merge in our customer's forename, for example. So this is where the merge fields comes in, and I could now choose forename from the list. Now, the first one it will choose or give you the kind of expanded options for is quote, because we've created this at the quote level. The CRM is trying to give you the most relevant merge fields. So that's why the quote ones appear first, but you can literally just scroll down if they're not relevant and go to the contact's forename instead, if that's what you're looking for. So forename, I'm going to put a comma there. We don't want to touch that merge field, get rid of the brackets or anything, because that will potentially mess with it, and the information might not pull through successfully. So leave it as it is, and then you could add any more information into this email template here. So as I say, I've just got the search and replace field now of the forename, but you might want something like maybe the quote ID, if that was particularly relevant in this email template every single time. Depends what kind of things you need to be putting in. Maybe I'd even have in the subject, I could even pull through, actually you could paste it in the subject even, so that the customer has that reference when they receive the email potentially. So have a bit of a look through this list, this search and replace fields list, and see which things maybe your sales team, for example, are currently doing manually, and see which ones they could do with using, because those things will obviously cut the time out for them. So this is obviously the rich text editor here. You can also pop in the HTML if you wish. Again, you kind of got all the normal formatting options that you would expect from an email sender. So bold, italic, numbered lists, bulleted lists, things like that. If you do need someone to, at our end, to do some custom email templates, we can do that. It will be chargeable work, but hopefully this is a nice intuitive bit of software for you to use in this particular instance. You can actually create them yourself without too much trouble, but that option is there independently for you. So you'd now click save. Once you're happy, I'm just going to click save on this one. And that email was clearly very bare, the email template, but you can see you can add all the information that was relevant to you. You can also see on the right hand side all the information again, check you're on the right one. If you're not sure, it just opens up the description and everything. So now that it has been added to our list, if I come over here, it will be added to our list. We can make sure it's got a group and things like that, like we did with the Word one as well. So now we've created our new templates, our email and our Word templates. Let's see how we can actually now use these within the CRM. So we're now going to come out of the settings area of the CRM. And remember, this is now not a CRM administrative right thing only going forward. So any user in the CRM could do the next few parts. We'll navigate to a quote record, for example. So I've got one here, my recent activity. Again, you can go to your search and see what you've been looking at recently to find something. And we can look to create a new document using our Word templates first. So we're on our quote and we want to use our Word template. So we go to the big plus button at the top and click document, because we're going to create a document associated with this quote. And this will give you a list of all the document types we could look to use, or the kind of ways of uploading or using templates. And as this is a Word template, we can use the templates icon there. And this will now allow us to choose a document type from the drop-down list. So all the ones we've created earlier are going to be available here. So, I mean, again, this is kind of where the group comes in, because I could go to sales documents and find the one I've just created earlier, because that has been associated with the sales documents group. So if you imagine if you had loads and loads of documents, the groups come in really handy here. So we'll choose the B2B quotation template, and as you can see, the previews come up again, which is nice. Good, just in case you've sort of picked the wrong one, I find you can just have a quick look over there. By default, the description will be taken from the title of the template, but you can actually overwrite that here. This is just a sort of free text field for you to overwrite. So if you want to change the description here, you can. So once happy, we could click create. And that will create that document for us and auto-populate the document with the information on the quote record and the contact record that's been associated with it, if you have the merge fields on the document. So you could then choose to open it in Word. It's already prompted me for that, actually. Or you can even download, I'm just going to cancel that. Or you could actually download the quotation template directly from here. Just worth noting that when you download it, obviously this will be your own static copy of the document, and it will be different to the one in the CRM. It won't be changing anything in the CRM. This is just a copy of it. But you could open it in Word and make some further changes if you wanted to do so. Okay, so if we now head back to the quote record again, I'll show you how to use your email templates. So to do this, simply click on the email address of the person associated with the quote. So we've got Michelle Jury. The quote is under that contact. So I could click on Michelle's email. And this will open up our send email view, where you can CC people in or blind copy people in, all the kind of standard things you would expect to have from your kind of typical email sender. But the bonus is that because it's coming from the CRM, the email will be automatically stored underneath this quote record, meaning you've got that audit trail going on. So to use an email template as the basis for this new email, use the drop down of select a template. And we want to use the new B2B email quotation. That was the one I created earlier. It's populated the merge field, as you can see, that I did earlier. I'm just going to choose one that we had in the system from before, just so you can see the kind of styling more than anything. So you can see we've got some information in here. You can obviously make further changes to this email down here. Despite the fact that it's come from a template, obviously you can make these changes here, make some amendments before you actually send it to the customer. So another handy feature that was actually part of the agenda today was to show you how to add attachments to an email. So if we click add attachments on the sort of middle top right area, it will then bring up the attachments window, and from here we have kind of a few options to choose from. So the first is to choose a file from your computer or your file browser, so you could literally browse for an attachment. We also have existing documents as an option there, which shows you any existing documents that have been created against this particular record before. So maybe perhaps you're resending something. And we've also got the new documents, and as you can see, there's some in there to choose from. You know, we could choose the appropriate one from here and decide whether to attach this as a Word document, which would be editable, kind of the sort of the raw document, or you could actually attach it as a PDF from here at this point. Really nice professional way of sending a document to somebody, particularly a proposal. Saves your team also making the Word document into a PDF outside of the CRM and saving it on their desktop or something before. They can just make it into a PDF from within the CRM directly at this stage. Yep, so the new documents, just go back to that. So you can create brand new templates from the email itself, as opposed to going through the whole process that I showed you earlier, that the quick add. So you can attach it straight away as a Word or a PDF. So that is available there if you'd like to do that. So once you've chosen which ones you'd like to attach, just click attach on the right there as PDF or just as themselves. I'm just going to close out of that for now. Another option, instead of doing the press add attachments button, is to find it in your browser and use the drag and drop the files here. So if you had like maybe 2 screens up, you could literally just, I'm going to attach this proposal one, drag and drop the file and it's attached it for you there. Just pretty easy, quick way of doing it. You can actually attach more than one item at a time as well, for those of you that are wondering. So if you've got like 6 documents you need to attach to the email, you can do it all in one. Just saves, again, a bit more time. So as you can see on the bottom of this email, there isn't an email signature. So it's just a name at the end and there's sort of no legal info or branding. And this kind of brings me nicely on to creating email signatures. So as I said earlier, adding email signatures is recommended, as it can help ensure all email communications are on brand and professional. So to configure your email signatures, if you're an admin user, you can do this from the Select a Signature drop-down on the top right there, and you can press Configure. You can also do that at the cog on the bottom left-hand corner, which we were in earlier. You can do so there, but we can do it straight from here. This message is just saying, I'm going to discard the current email you're working on, which I'm happy to do. I'm just going to show you this for the demo purposes. So if you're not an admin user, you won't actually see this part, but if you are, you can configure them straight from here. So to do that, just click the plus button again. Again, like I said, everywhere it's got this little plus icon, the list behind it. And firstly, it will ask you to give the new email signature a new name. So it's important to give it an appropriate title again that everyone will understand, because remember that these will be seen and usable company-wide. So although you're configuring them because you're an admin user, everyone will be able to choose from the list when they're creating their emails. So just give it an appropriate name. You might have seasonal ones, for example, like Christmas product offers or discounts. You might have ones for specific kind of customers, like maybe prospects or suppliers. You might have different email signatures to send to those different people. Maybe they're aimed at them, their kind of interests or whatever it might be, particular offer you've got on. So again, the description is a free text field as well. So that allows you to give them an explanation as to when the email signature should be used, maybe. So if it was a Christmas one, for example, you could just specify only use in December or something and then make it obsolete afterwards. So you can then create the email signature, the actual content at the bottom here. Again, rich text editor. You can copy the HTML as well if you prefer. Again, you have the search and replace fields available to use on the right hand side. Just scroll down, you can see those, which obviously very useful for emails, because if each CRM user is logging in, you could have their own forename at the bottom, and that will just automatically be personalized from that. So once you're happy with the email signature you create, obviously you design it and make it all look nice. Pop your legal info in this section here as well, and then you can press create, and then that will become available to all users. So I'm just going to click cancel for now. So I'm now going to show you how to easily save in external documents into the CRM. So firstly, you'll need to navigate to your desired record. In this instance, I'm going to go to the quote record again, just to keep it consistent. And I want to save some external documentation into here. So to do that, I just navigate to the documents page, because this is where any documents associated with this quote will be stored. So again, we can see ones that are here already. And I could, again, just drag the files in by going over to my file browser and simply drag and drop. And again, more than one at once. If you want to do 5 or 6, maybe you could do that, saves your team time really, rather than doing each one by one. And it will recognize the file type. So it will say doc maybe, or something like that. Or if it's a PowerPoint, it will recognize that. And then you can open it in Word or whatever the file type might be. You can actually just open it from here. Great for those who are just out on the road, maybe looking at this quote. Okay, go into the documents, what documents have been saved. You can just tap on to see what's going on with this particular quote, all the correspondence there. So before we round up today's webinar, I just want to show you how you can actually use a quick kind of useful tip, which features on the activity feed. So I'm just going to go back to Michelle's record, her actual own record, for example, and I want to just show you the marking notes as important or pinning notes. So this is the activity feed here, and in Prospect, it's very much like a conversational log. It's not just showing you here's a note, here's another note, here's a recall, here's a recall. It's showing you everything that's been associated with this particular record. Just a much more kind of overview of what's gone on. So let's say you sent an important quote to a customer and you want to ensure all users in your CRM actually know about this. You might want to be able to find it quite quickly and easily, particularly if it was, maybe an urgent thing. And this is where pinning comes in really nicely, and the important notes. So, for example, we've got something here. We could mark it as important by just pressing the exclamation mark icon. And then if users wanted to only see important notes, they just use the filter and toggle on the important notes, and then they're only seeing important notes there. So that is a good way of doing it. Alternatively, you can actually just pin notes, and that will pin them to the top of the activity feed. Great for those that just need to see straight away what is going on. You can literally just pin it. If they're not showing at the top and they're showing at the bottom, it might just be that you need to go to the cog and just show the newest entries at the top. So just check that that's toggled on. If you're not seeing them right at the top, they'll be at the kind of the bottom. So just make sure that's toggled on. But those 2 points are worth mentioning with document management as well. If you've got a particular document that's been attached, you can pin it there. So any documents that have been sent will be logged on this activity feed. Okay, so let's just go back to the slides so we can summarize what we've been through in today's webinar. So some useful hints and tips that I want you to take away from today's webinar and action, you can action straight away. So the first one is to ensure that you set up your document groups. Remember, those groups are like ways to categorize your documents into common themes or common areas. Useful particularly if you have lots of document templates, just a way of efficiently kind of allocating them. Second one is to use the attachments tool for adding existing documents and for generating new documents. Really useful tool when you're kind of trying to convert things into PDFs as well. Look really smart for customers to view on receiving your emails. The next one is to save all related external documents under the quote or the lead or the problem, whatever it might be, for full transparency on that activity feed. So that way, if we're off ill or if you're just out of the office for the day, someone can kind of confidently pick this lead up or this quote up, and they can just carry on that conversation by seeing the communication that's been going on. So the more you save in, the better really, because it's not going to harm anything. The more information that you can provide the rest of the users in the business, the better. So the final couple, so just to utilise and have a look through that search and replace field list, add them into your documents and emails to sort of further personalise them, just enhances the look of them as well. And then we've also got the marking notes as important and the pinning functionality. And then finally, just setting up the email signatures, just a really professional way if people are sending emails from within the CRM, which is probably worth doing, because everything is just logged straight away on the CRM. You don't have to save in any emails, so they're just coming from the CRM straight away. Setting up those email signatures, maybe your marketing team could give you a hand with that, or give us a shout. So should you need any more help or guidance from us, we actually have plenty of resources which you can access as a Prospect customer. Firstly, we have our YouTube channel. We are updating this pretty much weekly. We put a lot of effort into that, and we are pretty much, every time a new feature is coming out, we're doing a video on it, just a 1 to 2 minute video, just really worth going and having a look at. And as I say, we're kind of showing off all the kind of great updates that the development team are working on in Prospect. We've also got the Academy, again, something we're updating on a sort of weekly basis now. Any videos from the YouTube channel will be added onto the Academy, but the Academy also has all the documentation. So if you can't watch videos in the office or something, and you've got any headphones, you could just look through the articles. We have articles pretty much on most things. If there is something missing, just give us a shout, because we are writing them on a weekly basis. So it's really important for us to cover off everything. Just means that you can kind of see how to do something, share it with a colleague, keep looking back at it if you're not sure on how to do anything. You can also chat to us. We have our customer success team available on the phones. Just give us a call. They're here to help. That's what they're here for. Alternatively, you can chat with us online. We have intercom, so you can just literally go to our website and then open the chat, and they pick that up. We usually try and answer within minutes. We're pretty on that. And then we've got the services portal as well, which has got the link there on the screen. You can log your own tickets through this, which means they get automatically put into the customer success pool, rather than phoning in. Is also, you can do that, but it just means that they then have to go and log it. This gets logged automatically, so pretty good way to look at that, see the status of any projects that are going on as well. So definitely check that out. And then we've got our LinkedIn webinar group, which you can join, connect with members of the team on LinkedIn if you are using it, and this just gives you updates about what webinars are going on. So I hope you've enjoyed the webinar and found it informative. Hopefully you'll be able to take some actionable advice away and implement it in your CRM system straight away. Make sure you check out our upcoming webinars at the link on screen there. We've still got lots to come for the rest of 2019. Thanks, and hope to see you next one.